All right, what's up, everybody? Again, this is the next assignment. This is assignment 1F after the test. So we already took the first test, and this is our introduction again on how to use the calculator. So if you missed a few things, the few things that you need to know is how to create a summation on the calculator. How to create a summation. What you do to create a summation is you go to the catalog. All right, that is the gold writing above the number 4. So you have to hit second 4, and that will get you to the catalog. All right, so under exit catalog. And that will get you to the everything. Now, in this catalog, you're searching for the physical word sum. Now, if you've used it with the last lesson or something like that, a lot of the times the calculators will instantly jump to whatever you use the last. However, if you're anything like me, or you accidentally hit a different button, how do you find that word if it's not right there? Okay? What you do is you hit the letter T, which is technically the divide button. You hit the divide button on that. And that jumps to the letter T. Again, we're looking for the word sum. So what you got to do is you got to arrow up a couple times until you see the word sum. And then you hit the enter, the EXE button. And that will bring in the word sum. Okay, so your output of this will be literally the word sum, and that's what you're looking for. Okay, how do I set up my X and Y? So how do I input this and have the calculator recognize that list? All right, all of that information is done in the stats screen. All right, so the stats screen, you go to menu, okay, and the stats screen is that second column, screen. You hit 2, or you just go over and you hit enter, and that brings in a screen. Okay, this is your stat screen. This is where you create your X and Y list. Excuse me. X and Y list. All right. So I see here that there's junk in the calculator. There's stuff that I need to erase. All right. So I don't want that list 1, and I don't want that list 2. So I go to my F6 button. So to erase stuff, I want to go over to the next screen. And I want to delete all. That is the del A, the delete all. That's the F4 button. Do you want to delete it all? F1, yes, I do. And so notice how it deletes out that screen. You can go over to list 2 and do the same thing. I'm going to delete all, yes, and there you go. So from here, all you have to do is make your list X1 and your Y list 2. So my X in this case is 3, 2, 4, 9, 6. Arrow over. My Y is 2, 7, 3, 3, and 8. Again, after you hit the number, you physically have to hit the EXE button to physically enter it into your calculator. All right, so I have my list 1 and list 2. And then how do I physically use that? What you have to do is you have to you have to, in essence, enter like list 1, for instance, will bring in the X. So where is all this happening? Well, this is in the main calculator screen. So you go menu, you go back to the main calculator, which is the run math, and that list is again written in gold. So you hit second 1. You hit second 1, and that brings in the word list. And then the number 1 is just literally the number 1. And that will bring in the X list. Again, yours is going to be horizontal, mine's vertical. And so again, if you want the y, that would be list 2. Done in the same fashion, but obviously you hit the number 2. Okay, so now we know how to use our calculators, and now we can make these summations and do this math more quickly. Not all at once, but more quickly. All right, so for number 1, we want the sum of x. So sum of x is 24. Next, we want the sum of, I always open parentheses, x, y. The sum of y squared. All right, this next problem, we want to slow down and do that portion first. So we want to take the sum of y. So slow down. Don't try to do it all at once. So that is the number 23. Good. Okay, now that we have that, now we can square it. So I take my answer and square. Number 5, the sum of x plus y. Okay. Number 6, we need x sub 3. So 1, 2, 3. It's this number 4. Times the sum of x squared. So the sum of x squared. Ooh, should use parentheses, my bad. Sum of x squared. So ultimately, this is 4 times 146. Now, because you're using your calculator, and it's just straight up using calculator, I don't like calculator writing on my math pages, so don't write calculator speak on here. So for right now, it's totally cool to just cut right to the chase and get right to your answers. However, for instance, in number 7, you do have the possibility of writing work. You're not instantly jumping to an answer. So I'm going to get this top answer, I'm going to get this bottom answer, and then I'm going to do the work. So the top is the sum of x, y. Again, it should be the same as number 2. The bottom is the sum of x. So I do have the ability to show work. Look at that. Look at me writing down work. And now I can go ahead and divide the two. So 107 divided by 24 comes out to be that. All right, number 8, I also have the ability to show work. So x2 divided by y3, square root. So again, here is where you're going to want to be using the answer. The answer. Because look what 2 divided by 3 is. it's a decimal that goes on and 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 on forever. So 6666666. Right? That's what the decimal is. However, so if I go, hey, this is going to be the square root of this, and I physically write that in, my answer becomes less accurate. Because what that recognizes the answer as being is 6667 and nothing else. It's a different number. It's a different number. And I don't want to use this number written in blue. I want to use this number. This is what I want to use. So how do I get that? How do I make that happen? And so again, how I make that happen is the answer option in my calculator. It's the writing in gold above the negative side. So everybody sees the button that has this on it, and then you see written in gold above that, the answer. This is what I want right there. I want that answer. And what that will do is, if I have 2 divided by 3 in my calculator, it will recognize that decimal. So I want to square root that decimal. So I'm going to square root, not 0.6667, but I'm going to square root that answer. And so what that does is it inputs the huge, long, infinitesimally long decimal into my calculator. And so that is the most accurate answer. So don't rewrite it. Don't start typing, because the minute that you start typing is the minute that it becomes less and less accurate. All right, I digress. Going back to work. So number 9, we have the sum. Oh, geez, what am I doing? The sum of x times the sum of y divided by x sub 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the number 6 right there. That's the 5th number of x. So 24 times 23 divide by 6. All right, number 10, I'm going to break this into, in essence, 3 different pieces. I'm going to break this into that first chunk, that second chunk, third chunk, divide them, and square root. So the first chunk, that summation of x squared y. So this is going to be the summation of x squared y. The next one begins with the summation of x, y. So the summation of xy, that chunk. What I need to do now is I need to square that. So I took that squared. Now I need to divide by 5. And that got me all the way through. So that B chunk is 2,289.8. I'm writing this with my mouse, so it's taking me a lot longer. C is obviously 4. I don't think you really need a calculator for that one. All right, so putting this together, the top is going to be this A plus this B. So the numerator of this is A plus B. what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that by C and then square root that. So I divide by C and then square root that. There it is. Okay, and then this is just another continuation of knowing words and things like that. So the sample was constructed to determine which type of calculator is most important at your school. So the population of school. So this is the population, school. Random calculus students were asked, blah, 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 blah. Was this random or biased? So if you ask only calculus kids, you didn't ask the entire school. There's a lot of the quote-unquote school that isn't calculus kids. So this is biased. Why? Not everyone had a chance to be asked. A sample was constructed to determine which extracurricular activity has the most academic issues. All right, so the population is people in extracurriculars. Okay, so anything outside of school. So that includes theater and sports and clubs and everything like that. So those are extracurriculars. A random 25% of the participants in each activity was asked, what are your grades? So 25% of each activity. So yeah, that gets everybody from the theater kids to the athletes to, you know, the anime club and everything in between. So that does get everything. So that's a great way of doing it. That's absolutely random. You want to know about people in your third hour class. You want to know about third hour class. Census or a sample, that'd be a census. Third hour classes are relatively small, 35 people. So you get the most accurate results with a census. And why are you able to take a census? Because the population is small. You want to know how many dogs in Arizona, usually we're at college, we take a census or a sample. Dogs in Arizona, that is millions and millions. So that is way too big. So you need to make that smaller. You need to take a sample of that population. Population was too large. Quantitative or qualitative, those are numbers and they actually mean something. You could technically say this number is bigger than the other number, that sort of thing. This is a quantitative because it's measurable. Quantitative quality is a great school spirit. That's a quality. Okay, you can't say, oh, their school spirit meter is at a 3, which is way better than the school spirit of a 2 or something like that. It doesn't work that way. Okay, there's 27 questions on test. How many must a person get correct to get an A, aka 90%? So here I have a percentage and I want to apply it to a number. So I have a percentage and I want to use it. So that means multiplication. So 90% is 0.90. So 90% of 27 is 24.3. Again, give me the math answers on these. Don't round the numbers. A class of 35 students, 28 of them like bubblegum. What percentage like bubblegum? Okay, that is asking for a percentage, so I need to create it. That's a division. So that's 28 out of 35. Again, it's usually small divided by the big. Okay, small divided by the big. So if you have to guess, this is the way that I would guess. So 28 divided by 35 gets you a decimal answer. But then you move the decimal 2 places to the right to create this. So this would be 80%. Number 19, 80% of the population is left-handed. There are 2,058 students in your school. How many should be left-handed? So here I have a percentage and I'm applying it to a number. I want to know what is 8% of 2,058. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to turn my percentage into a decimal, so I move it 2 to the left. So that would be 0.08. That's 8% of 2,058. And again, I have a percentage in using it. That's multiplication. So 8%, 0.08 times 2,058. There it is. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too rough and you remembered a lot of the things. So give it a try. If you have any questions, let me know.